Hello everyone, my name is Macra Terror and welcome to the next episode of the series classic Who review. And before we start this video, I'm about to show you how the music was played back in 1966 to 1969. So I bought my recorder. See, my recorder. I never lose it. Anyway, so I'm going to record the music of my theme back in 1966 to 1967 to 1969. Sadly, the 1966 title was not developed yet since I began, but in 1967 it did begin back since the Macra Terror. So let's start, shall we? Right. Okay. So I'm going to do the theme tune of my main theme. So here we go. Right. Never played the recorder for quite like the last 50 years, but anyway, let's go. This is my music. Let's start again. Is it to be a theme tune? Hey, you lot, can you stop playing the music when I'm trying to sing, okay? Right. Okay, who's been playing this music? Alright, look, whoever's doing it, I'll take a mic over whoever's doing it, okay? Jamie, is it you? Oh, not yet. Not Zoe, not even Polly, or even Victoria. Right. Alright. Alright, give me, please record that. Just let me sing the theme tune, please. Oh, come on! Oh, come on! Can't you just let me do it for once? Oh my god, I can't even play! Stupid theme tune, I just give it out the reviews. Oh my giddy aunt, you're here! Alright, hello everyone, welcome to the series, the next episode of the series of the classic Who review, and today I'm reviewing the Macra Terror era between 1966 to 1969. So yeah, the second Doctor. So last video I did the William Hartnell era classic review back last month. So like I said, like I keep saying, I'm releasing those videos each month for each Doctor, and also reviewing each of their stories. But if you can comment or maybe comment on Facebook or maybe YouTube to tell me which story you want to review, but it has to be in one story in each season. Anyway, let's go back to the review. So I'm reviewing the second Doctor, the Macra Terror, between 1966 and 1969. So what do you think about Macra Terror back in his era in the 60s? His era was very much okay for first. I do like his stories was more popular back then. But anyway, some stories are pretty much the lost stories. Some of them have been restored, and some of them are actually kind of rivers. But anyway, I think Macra Terror did very well back in the 60s, and played like a chameleon Doctor, since like something quite similar than Sylvester McCoy. But anyway. But with that, he didn't came he came before Macra Terror. But anyway, I think it was pretty much very much a good era for everyone. As this era was very much classic, as all the stories are pretty much popular, make this Doctor more popular ever. Like Unit came in, and also the Cybermen came the classic enemies replacing the Daleks. Yeah, the Daleks were in the Macra Terror's era before they before they got killed off by the evil the Daleks. I did watch that story and I didn't like it because the Daleks it just killed off and that was the end. But no, that wasn't the end of them because they came back in John Pertwee's era. But I'll explain that in the next month. The Pat Chalkert's era was the end of the black and white versions of Doctor Who. I mean, I'd watched all the stories back then on this month, and it was very, very, very special. And I also quite very much liked how the acting did between Pat Chalkert and the companions, and including the other characters in his era. But anyway, I think was pretty much a very good story. But anyway, Pat Chalkert was very comedic, and also not people like they certain as a new as a doctor, but he's a bit fine moodily, but not my best doctor, but still a bit. Anyway, let's start with the episodes. I will start reviewing for this video. So I've got the stories ready. So I will review 3 stories of 3 of each seasons. So let's start with the first story. So the first story I'm reviewing is The Macra Terror, written by Brian Hayles. The story will see the Doctor and his companions arriving on the human colony world when they find out that the Macra, living crab-like aliens, have taken over the colony and also manipulating the colony as they're luring the outside of the night of the colony, as the Doctor and his companions have to stop the Macra before the colony will fall. This story is pretty much my very most scariest story ever, and also became my best one. I think. The reason why the story is pretty much good because when they reanimated it, because sadly all 4 parts of the story was pretty much lost. The only way they can make people watch it, or how you can watch the story, is by animated. I think the animated version would play very much well for first, as the BBC did recreate the Macra pretty much scarier, because back in the Classic Who, this is what they like. I know why they have to move the Macra by using vans. Anyway, even Polly, the companion who played the companion in the story, always screams all the time. I mean, Mom has been hearing it. Who's that? It's someone screaming. But yeah, that's a TV, Mom. Thanks. Yeah. Anyway, I think the story was pretty much the most scariest one ever. Because for Chalkert, he didn't only met the Macra only for once in part one. But anyway, I wish that maybe well, I think the animated version is okay for now. Okay, but anyway, what do you think they made in the future? They may restore the story and find it and restore it. Maybe find it back in Australia or Hong Kong, but whatever. Do you think they will recreate the story instead of it animated? But anyway, I think the animated version will play very much good in the story. But and with the Macra, they're pretty much scary at first, but not with the eyes, but also the characters, how they react to the Macra. But anyway, I think the Macra Terror was played very good, and I'm giving this story 8 out of 10. That's my opinion. Yours could be very different. So the next story will be The Enemy of the World, written by David Whittaker. The story will see the Doctor and his companions arriving on Australia in the year 2018, where they find out that there's a world dictator named Salamander who looks like the Doctor, who claiming on conquering the earth, conquering the world by became the shopkeeper and also the dictator of the world, something quite Napoleon and some sort. But anyway, so what I think about this story, The Enemy of the World. This story was very, very good, and it was best story ever known. The reason why I like that story, because they restored it back in 2013. I do like how the stories have been restored, and also how the acting was back then. I do like part 3, and that was the only story that's ever restored back in the BBC when all the stories were lost. Thanks to the BBC who restored all the 5 parts and make the story pretty much better. And also when I watched all the restored 5 parts, I do like part 1 when the Doctor went on the beach, and also part 3 with the actually normal story where people like it and keep watching keep watching. And part 6 was good when the Doctor and Salamander fighting each other. But anyway, I think this story was pretty much my best. It was pretty much played like some sort of like a James Bond or any kind of a sci-fi criminal type of story, where the Doctor had to personate Salamander. Anyway, I think this story was pretty much the best story of all time, and including like the other story who was stored after that one, the Web of Fear. I watched that story, but only part 3 was missing. But anyway, the Enemy of the World of Whittaker's work was pretty much the best story of all time. Anyway, that's all I can say for the Enemy of the World. I'm giving this story 9 out of 10. That's my opinion. Yours could be very different. So the next story I'm reviewing is The Invasion, written by Derek Sheeran and also by the story of Kit Belder, so the creator of the Cybermen. So what I think about this The Invasion story? The story will see the Doctor and his companions arrive on Earth when they find that the Cybermen are about to invade the Earth by the help of a man named Vorm, by electromagmatics of his company to help the Cybermen to take over the Earth. And also it was the first appearance ever of Unit, and also the second appearance of Brigadier Ledbeck Stewart. It's also the first story ever of a Unit story with Unit appeared. So what do you think about the invasion? The invasion of the Pat Dragon era. What I say, this was the best Cybermen story of all time. The reason why people like this story because it became much more popular, and how the Cybermen walk in London and invade London, just like the Dalek invasion of Earth. It was pretty much played the most great story of all time, and all time. But sadly, part 1 and part 4 were missing in the story. The only way they can, like I said, the only way they can restore the story is with animated. They animated back in 2008, so it was the only way they can restore the stories. But anyway, I think that the invasion was my best story. I think the act as first the Cybermen. I thought they title it The Invasion of the Cybermen, or in the Cybermen Invasion. But anyway, I think The Invasion was pretty much a good title because people don't know what who the invaders are. They think it was the Daleks, but no, it was the Cybermen. It was the Cybermen. The Cybermen were always being recreated and also remodel themselves again. Like this is the third redesign of the Cybermen, playing more good and more modern. In the first Cybermen, they like back in the Grim Hartlord's era in the 10th Planet, it played very much funny. Here's a clip.
We've got 2 men in space. If we don't act now, we won't get them back alive. They will not return.
You will become like us. And in the Pat Dragon era right now, between the moon base and the wheel in space, or actually the tomb of the Cybermen. Yeah, like that. And also the wheel in space. No one not that good Cybermen design back in the wheel in space. But anyway, I think this one was pretty much a good one. Not with the Cybermats, but also with how the Cybermen invasion was played like that, like the Dalek invasion of Earth. But also, Unit in this story became more popular because people hinted that back then that how Unit will return for the next season, and that happened when John Pertwee came in and helped you to face other aliens except the Cybermen. But anyway, this story was a best modern story ever. If you like to watch this story, maybe watch it now, because I think because in between 8 parts, it played like an actual 2-part movie at first, like maybe 3 hours, 2 hours, but not like Endgame, But anyway, I think I'm giving this story 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. That's mine to opinions. Yours could be very different. What do you think? 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10? But anyway, I think 10 out of 10 for this story. Oh, we hear the sound. That means it's the end of this video now. The end of this review. So next month I'm going to be reviewing the John Pertwee era. Yes, John Pertwee, the third best modern Doctor ever. If you want to comment below and ask which stories you want me reviewing in John Pertwee's era, but it has to be in one story in each season. So thank you for watching. If you guys want to comment down below and subscribe and like and watch. And also, if you want to comment to Facebook, I'll put a link of Facebook, and so you can make a comment there. There's also a live stream being videoed this week. If you can, all last week, depends on when the video is being released. If you can, just comment below. If you can, just comment on Facebook and ask which story you want me reviewing and which other stories you want me reviewing from other doctors. But yeah, I think the Pat Dragon era was very much decent at my time. Anyway, I wasn't born in the 1960s. I mean, anyway, thank you. And that was the end of the black and white era. And then next month, will be in colour. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Talio.